Welcome to the Blue Collar Tutor Test Preparation Series for the New York City Fire Department, S-13 Certificate of Fitness for Citywide Supervision of Standpipe Systems, and the S-14 Certificate of Fitness for Citywide Supervision of Multi-Zone Standpipe Systems. It is critical that you understand this material to pass the exam. If you haven't already, it is recommended that you watch the brief overview video at the beginning of this series before moving on to the subsequent volumes. After an initial run-through of the entire series, refer back to each of these volumes, as often as needed, until you are confident with the material covered in each section. Once you become proficient with all of the material in this course, continue on to the S-13 and S-14 practice test sections to test your knowledge of the material. Chapter 1. Introduction. A standpipe system is piping installed in a building that serves to transfer water to hose connections located within the building for firefighting purposes. Whether a building must be provided with a standpipe system or not is generally set forth in the New York City Building Code. However, the Fire Code does contain several standpipe requirements, such as for high-piled combustible storage and for buildings constructed on streets of substandard width. Inspection, testing, servicing, and other maintenance of standpipe systems must be performed in accordance with the National Fire Protection Association 2011 edition and the National Fire Protection Association 1962-2008 edition for the standard for the inspection, care, and use of fire hoses, couplings, and nozzles, and the service testing of fire hoses. Multi-zone standpipe systems must be personally supervised by a constantly attending S-14 Certificate of Fitness licensed individual. All multiple dwellings, factories, office buildings, warehouses, stores and offices, theaters and music halls, hospitals and asylums, public schools and other public buildings, churches and other places where large numbers of persons are congregated for purposes of worship, instruction, or amusement, and all piers, bulkheads, wharves, pier sheds, bulkhead sheds, or other waterfront structures shall provide such fire hose, fire extinguishers, buckets, axes, fire hooks, fire doors, and other means of preventing and extinguishing fires as the Commissioner may direct. Required fire protection systems shall be extended or altered as necessary to maintain and continue protection whenever the building or structure is altered. Systems not complying with this study material shall be considered to be impaired. Chapter 2. Responsibility of the building owner. It shall be the building owner's responsibility to maintain the standpipe system and to determine the individual qualifications and competencies of the certificate of fitness holder that performs the functions related to inspection, testing, and maintenance of the standpipe system. Impairment coordinator. The building owner shall assign an impairment coordinator to comply with the requirements of this study material. The impairment coordinator shall take the actions when a standpipe system, sprinkler system, or fire alarm system is out of service. The impairment coordinator shall maintain records of all system inspections, tests, servicing, and other items of maintenance. These records shall be kept on the premises or other approved location for a minimum of 3 years. These records shall be made available for inspection by any member of the fire department. In the absence of a specific designee, the building owner shall be considered the impairment coordinator. Chapter 3. Out-of-service systems. Planned removal from service. The impairment coordinator shall be made aware in advance of any planned removal from service of a standpipe system, sprinkler system, fire alarm system, or system components. The impairment coordinator shall be made aware of repair, servicing, alteration, testing, and other maintenance of the system or component, or to allow construction to be performed in the area protected by the system without unnecessarily activating it. The impairment coordinator shall authorize and personally supervise the placing of the fire protection system out of service. Before authorizing the placing of the fire protection system out of service, the impairment coordinator shall notify the certificate of fitness holder responsible for supervising the maintenance of the standpipe system, sprinkler system, or fire alarm system. Determine the extent and expected duration of the out-of-service condition. Inspect the areas or buildings involved and assess the increased risks. Make appropriate recommendations to the owner. Notify the fire department in accordance with Fire Code 901.7.5 if required. Notify the responsible person, designated by the owner, to issue hot work authorizations in accordance with Fire Code, Chapter 26. Notify the central station and insurance carrier. Notify the occupants in the affected areas if the duration of time the sprinkler system or the fire alarm system will be out of service is estimated to be more than 30 minutes. Place a tag at each fire department connection, standpipe, and sprinkler system control valve and fire command center, indicating which fire protection system or part thereof is out of service. Maintain the fire protection system in service until work is ready to begin. Out-of-service standpipe systems. At construction sites, the owner/fire safety manager and/or impairment coordinator shall immediately notify the fire department of any unplanned out-of-service condition and comply with the requirements for an unplanned out-of-service condition. 1. Immediately notify the fire department of any unplanned out-of-service condition and otherwise comply with the requirements of Fire Code Section 901.7.4. 2. Notify the fire department at least 24 hours prior to any planned removal of the standpipe system from service and otherwise comply with the requirements of Fire Code Section 901.7.3. 3. Ensure that a fire watch is continuously maintained in compliance with the requirements of Fire Code Section 901.7.2 while the standpipe system is out of service. 4. Repair the standpipe system and return it to service in compliance with the requirements of Fire Code Section 901.7.6 and Section 3303.8.1 of the New York City Building Code. The construction site may continue to be occupied and construction, demolition, or alteration activities may continue pending such repair and restoration to service except as otherwise provided in Section 330.3.8.1 of the New York City Building Code, and/or as otherwise directed by the Commissioner upon a determination that, in the absence of an operable standpipe system, the conduct of certain construction, demolition, or alteration activities would be imminently perilous to life or property, and that in no circumstance shall hot work be conducted on the construction site until such time as the standpipe system is restored to service and the standpipe alarm reactivated. Unplanned out-of-service condition. Any person, upon becoming aware of any condition, except a planned removal from service, rendering a standpipe system, sprinkler system, or fire alarm system, or part thereof, inoperable in whole or in part, shall notify the owner and the impairment coordinator of such condition. The impairment coordinator shall take the actions as required by the code, and such other actions as are necessary or appropriate to protect the occupants of the building and promptly restore the system to service. Fire watch and fire guards. When a fire protection system is out of service, fire watch personnel must continuously patrol the area affected by the out-of-service fire protection system to which such person has been assigned, keeping constant watch for fires. Be provided with at least one approved mean for notifying the fire department and emergency preparedness staff. Immediately report any fire to the fire department and notify the emergency preparedness staff on premises. Be trained in the use of portable fire extinguishers. Be responsible for extinguishing fires limited in size and spread that can be readily extinguished. Maintain a record of such fire watch on the premises during the fire watch and for a minimum of 48 hours after the fire watch has concluded. Have no other duties. The fire watch for an out-of-service standpipe, sprinkler, or fire alarm system shall be maintained by one or more fire guards. The impairment coordinator or other building staff trained and knowledgeable in conducting a fire may conduct a fire watch in lieu of a fire guard during the initial 4 hours of a planned removal from service, or after discovery of an unplanned out-of-service condition, provided that the floor area in which the fire protection system is out of service does not exceed 50,000 square feet. Fire department notifications for out-of-service conditions. Notification to the fire department shall be made when a standpipe system is out of service for any period of time. The initial fire department notification shall include the following. 1. The owner or impairment coordinator's name and contact information. 2. The building address. 3. The type of fire protection system that is out of service. 4. Whether the fire protection system is out of service by reason of a planned removal from service, and if so, the reason for placing it out of service, or of an unplanned out-of-service condition. 5. For planned removal from service, notification must include the date and time the fire protection system will be placed out of service and the estimated duration the system will be out of service. 6. For an unplanned out-of-service condition, notification must include the estimated duration the system will be out of service. 7. The floors or areas in which the fire protection system is out of service. 8. Whether the other fire protection systems are in good working order. And 9. The name and certificate number of the certificate of fitness holder responsible for supervision of the fire protection system that is out of service. When a certificate of fitness holder observes a major defect or out-of-service system, he or she shall report the defect to the borough dispatcher, the owner, and any responsible parties. When the certificate of fitness holder observes a minor defect or other condition not presenting a serious safety hazard, he or she shall report the defect or condition to the owner. If the defect or condition is not corrected within 30 days, it shall be deemed to be an impairment and reported in writing to the fire department. Fire Code 901.7.5. Identifying out-of-service systems using disks/tags. Systems that are out of service, both planned and unplanned, shall be immediately identified by placing a tag at each of the following locations: fire department connections, system control valves, the fire command center, or other clearly visible locations in the lobby of the building, indicating which system or part thereof is out of service. Impairment coordinators/building owners shall ensure the placement of these tags by master fire suppression piping contractors or master licensed plumbers as restricted. In addition, for an unplanned out-of-service condition, a disc, white or blue, shall be placed at all affected fire department connections to inform responding fire department units of the out-of-service condition. The impairment coordinator/building owner shall ensure placement of these discs by master fire suppression piping contractors or master licensed plumbers as restricted or fire department units. When the condition has been corrected, the disc or discs shall be removed immediately. Tag requirements. A tag shall be used to indicate that a system or portion is out of service. A master fire suppression piping contractor, Class A or B, or master licensed plumber, as restricted, shall be required to post tags at the main control valve and at any closed sectional valves serving areas affected. The tag shall indicate the area affected, a brief description of the condition, the occupancy classification, the certificate of fitness number, and the estimated time until the system becomes operational. Drain test results shall be posted on the tag, indicating both the static and flow pressures before and after the system was placed in an out-of-service condition. If no impairment is found in the entire system, green tags will be placed on the main control valve. Systems fully out of service. The impairment coordinator/building owner shall ensure that the local administrative fire company, a master fire suppression piping contractor, Class A or B, or a master licensed plumber, as restricted, has placed one white disc 8 to 9 inches in diameter on all affected fire department connections. A red tag shall be placed at the main control valve indicating the standpipe company name, date of removal from service, and anticipated return to service date. Systems partially out of service. The impairment coordinator/building owner shall ensure that the local administrative fire company, a fire suppression piping contractor, fire department units, or master fire suppression contractor, Class A or B, has placed one blue disc, 8 to 9 inches in diameter, on all affected fire department connections. A red tag shall be placed at the main control valve and any closed sectional valve indicating the company name, date of removal from service, and anticipated return to service date. Impaired equipment. Underground service mains, water storage tanks, fire department connections, control valves, fire and/or booster pumps that are out of service and are considered vital to part of the system are required to be tagged following procedures outlined in Chapter 15 of the National Fire Prevention Association, 2011 edition. Tags placed at control valves shall indicate the level of impairment or defect as follows. System fully or majorly out of service. Red tag, white disc. System is found with critical deficiency. Orange tag. Blue disc. System is found with non-critical deficiencies. Yellow tag. Blue disc. System appears free of defects or deficiencies. Green tag. No disc. Only the fire department, the owner, a master fire suppression piping contractor, or a master licensed plumber, as restricted, may place a tag on a system. For systems that are fully or partially out of service that are not equipped with fire department connections, the appropriate tag shall be placed at the main control valve. The fire department is to be notified immediately. Prior to returning a system to service, the impairment coordinator shall ensure that the necessary tests and inspections are conducted, the system is operating normally, the fire department borough dispatcher is notified, the building owner's tenants in the affected area are notified, the insurance carrier is notified, the emergency preparedness staff are notified, the central station operator, if so equipped, is notified, and that the out-of-service tags and discs are removed. Chapter 4. General Procedure for Detail, Record Keeping, Impairments, and Safety. It shall be the responsibility of the S-13/S-14 Certificate of Fitness holder to perform the following. Record Keeping. S-13/S-14 Certificate of Fitness holders shall maintain a detailed record of all inspections. Records. Fire Code 901.6.2. Records of all system inspections, tests, servicing, and other maintenance required by the New York City Fire Code, New York City Fire Rules, or the referenced standards shall be maintained on the premises or another approved location for a minimum of 3 years and be made available for inspection by any fire department representative. Detailed records. A detailed inspection report shall include information relative to conditions of the water supply, gravity and pressure tanks and levels therein, valves, risers, piping, sprinkler heads, fire department connections, alarms, fire, booster, and special service pumps, obstructions and conditions of all other system equipment and appurtenances. All defects and/or impairments shall be noted on the report. Records shall be readily available to any representative of the fire department. Riser Card. In addition to those records required by the National Fire Prevention Association 25, as mentioned above, an approved card bearing the dates of each inspection, the Certificate of Fitness number, and signature of the Certificate of Fitness holder shall be posted on the premises near the main water supply control valve. This approved card shall not replace or supersede the detailed record of inspection. Notification of all defects shall be reported to the owner or their representative by the Certificate of Fitness holder. After 30 days, any of the defects that have not been corrected shall be immediately reported to the Fire Department Borough Communication Office. Failure to make inspections, maintain records, and report defects or violations may be cause for revocation of the Certificate of Fitness and court enforcement proceedings. Chapter 5. Individuals authorized to perform tasks as specified per the New York City Fire Code. 1. S-13 or S-14. Certificate of Fitness holders are licensed only for visual inspections, proper notifications, and recording inspection results for examination by the fire department. 2. An S-13 Certificate of Fitness holder, employed by a single or multiple properties under common ownership, employed by the same building owner/management company, with the Refrigeration Operating Engineer Q01 and Q99 licenses, a New York City High Pressure Operating Engineer's license, or a New York State High Pressure Operating Engineer's license, are permitted to perform visual inspections, test notification appliances, perform daily and weekly routine maintenance, and record all inspections, testing, and maintenance results for examination by the fire department. 3. An S-14 Certificate of Fitness holder employed by a site-specific building owner with the following certifications: the Refrigeration Operating Engineer Q99 and Q01 licenses, a High Pressure Operating Engineer's license, or a New York State High Pressure Operating Engineer's license, are permitted to perform visual inspections, test notification appliances, perform daily and weekly routine maintenance, and record all inspections, testing, and maintenance results for examination by the fire department. 4. A Master Fire Suppression Piping Contractor, Class A or B, with an S-13 Certificate of Fitness, is permitted to inspect, test, maintain, and repair/replace all fire standpipe and sprinkler systems components, keep records of maintenance, inspections, and test results for examination and evaluation by the fire department. 5. A master plumber with an S-13 Certificate of Fitness for standpipe systems that are not combined with sprinkler systems are permitted to inspect, test, maintain, and repair/replace all fire standpipe systems, keep records of maintenance and inspections, and test results for examination by the fire department. This concludes Volume 1. Repeat each chapter as often as needed until you are confident with all of the material. A transcript of this material is provided for free by the New York City Fire Department. See the link in the description below to upload the transcript and additional reference guides that you'll need to familiarize yourself with in preparation for the exam. Post any follow-up questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to stay current on updates to existing exams and to be notified of new test preparation content. If you found this video helpful, please consider leaving a like. Thank you for watching.